Yeah, I mean, it's just like, get an input. You have an input
Mm,
and you have an output, right? So basically, like, you use text to communicate with the computer, and
mm,
that's it. I guess that's, or maybe I don't know. I call that a terminal. Some people call that a command line or a prompt or whatever. But
sure.
that's basically what a terminal is. And I was like considering, okay, we have this simple logic.
Mhm,
We should be able to, like, this is 2026. We should be able to adopt that into like anything. So terminal is just text. It's 2D.
mm,
Make it
mm.
a picture, put it on a surface, render it as 3D. That's still gonna be a terminal. So basically, I was also like considering, like, how can I like take this terminal approach and make it so that it's no longer feels like a terminal.
Mm.
So that was also like one of the ideas. And in like my original title for the blog post for Ratty was, I built a terminal emulator that is not supposed to be a terminal emulator, because it feels different. But when you think about what a terminal is, it's just like input and output, and you communicate with the computer using this.
Mhm.
It's a terminal. So yeah, maybe dude, my brain's fried.
No, I think I get what you're trying to say here. Like the idea of a terminal is this. A lot of people have this like set idea in their head, but you're trying to sort of expand that idea. Like, what does a terminal just need to be this text-based interface, or can we do more with this? Can we like
Yeah.
can we actually use this as like a primary input that can stand alongside your other like the graphical applications on your system?
Yeah. So a lot of people actually asked, can I run Wayland in Ratty? And I was like, well, at that point, we are reinventing what are we doing?
Right,
Right.
right.
So, um, and some people actually, like, this was a funny comment. They said, I will at some point reinvent the graphical user interfaces, and I will just be super excited about it. But basically, like, they asked, like, can I have windows in, like, actual, like, clickable stuff in Ratty? I
Mhm.
was like, no, this is a terminal emulator. This is not a desktop environment. So yeah, there's like also like ideas like that out there.
I was
Um,
just thinking, could could you implement a graphical interface inside of Ratty? But I guess if you can't do click events, then that would be a bit difficult.
you probably can. So okay, one other idea was, we're using Bevy game engine,
Mm,
and let's say you built a game using Bevy. Can we run that game inside Ratty, because it's also using Bevy?
mm.
And I think that was possible. So if you have a Bevy app, and yeah, you can basically like run it in the terminal. It's 3D. It's 3D. Like,
Mm,
it's
mm.
it's using GPU. It uses like 300 megabytes of RAM. We should use that for something. Yeah, it sometimes feels very wasteful just
Mhm.
to render text and a spinning rat, So we should use it.
Yeah, I did get some comments from like the resource, the resource hungry people. It's like, how this is crazy. How dare you make a piece of software that uses all of this RAM? And yeah, it does use a lot of RAM for what it does. But also, have, look, having a full game engine there is probably a little overkill for what you're doing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably like have it like less heavy by just implementing it from scratch. But the issue is, I don't know I don't know where this is going, right? I
Mm,
don't know if this is the final form of Ratty, or if you're gonna like have something else. So I'm keeping Bevy because Bevy is really powerful,
mm, mm.
and until I see like a, I don't know, just like Ratty in a place where people use it and it's very useful
Mhm.
and it's stable and so on, I don't think I will re-implement and have it like less resource hungry and less, I don't know, bloated. But right now I am super aware that this is taking a lot of RAM and GPU and whatnot. But it's for the spinning rats, man. Come on, it's cool.
Do you have any other ideas for like improvements you would like to see in the terminal space? Just even if they're things you're not going to get around to yourself, maybe someone wants to work on some random project.
Yeah, it's a good question, I think. So I've like I said, I've been using Terminal for giving talks,
Mm,
presentations, and I think we should have like a better support in terms of rendering images and
mhm,
GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say it. Um, because I'm using Presenterm.
mhm,
Presenterm is a brilliant tool, and it can render like GIFs, code blocks. You can execute code. It works super well. It's the best like presentation tool in the terminal, I think. And I'm using Westterm alongside with it,
mhm,
and Westterm has the best image support. I believe.
mhm,
Like in my experience, it has the best image support, and I find myself switching from Alacrity to Westterm, back to Alacrity, sometimes Rio because Rio has shader support. And I'm not even like experimenting with Ghosty yet because I know that Ghosty has some other features and I didn't really have time. So I basically want I don't know, like we're using so many tools and I think we should have like some of these things should be giving to us as default, and we should not like I don't know, like
mhm,
you see, like I'm using so many things, and I just want to use one thing,
mm, mm,
if
mm,
that makes sense. So yeah, I think we should just improve the overall like I don't know, like image support and like just font support and whatnot, and just less you have less fragmentation in
mhm,
the terminal ecosystem. I am following Terminal Trove. This is a newsletter, and Terminal Trove has this comparison page. And this was something that I have discovered the other day, and they added RAT terminal there. So you
mhm.
can basically pick like different terminals, and it compares their features for you. Super
Oh.
useful feature. So yeah, I was just looking at the list, and I was like, God damn, we have a lot of terminals, and each one has their own way of handling things.
Mhm, mhm,
So, I don't know, maybe like I don't know, some standards, some kind of yeah, I don't know, man. Like, there's so many projects out there. Like, there's
mhm,
even like probably like even better like terminal emulators out there that we don't even know.
mhm.
So yeah, so many things to experiment.
I think what you're seeing is this sort of, I guess, maybe you want to call it like a fracturing, where you have the terminals that are just trying to be traditional terminals, like your GNOME terms, um, console, other things like that, where it's like these are the terminals that you're probably going to see ship with an environment. But you're also seeing this like new space of experimentation, and because you're seeing a lot of this experimentation, it's hard to really settle on any like standards for doing things because everything is still kind of in flux. And there's also not that many. Yes, there's a bunch of terminals here, right? But there's not really that many, all things considered. So you have kind of few people working in this space with lots of interesting ideas floating around. So it's this like just kind of mess that I think has to sort itself out over time. And I think as more of the stuff gets ironed out and as people keep working on cool things, like the and not even just working cool things, people knowing that cool things are being worked on, I would hope that some of this stuff does start to like settle over time. We are seeing some of that, right? Like with with the kitty image protocol, right? Like that is something which has kind of settled now. It's not really like, yes, you have iTerm stuff as well. Yes, you have Sixel, but like
Mhm.
I don't really think there's any real need to like come up with a new solution there. Whereas these
Mhm.
other areas, I think because there's still like early work, like 3D stuff, it's gonna take a while for that stuff to like sort of trickle out into other projects.
Yeah. So I have started a community just for this
Mhm,
purpose because I've seen a lot of like a lot of advancements from different projects, but most of the time we don't know about each other, and they just like they decide to implement something and they go ahead and do it, and now that becomes their own thing, like kitty image protocol, right? Or like this glyph protocol. They just like they're in their own bubble, so to speak.
mhm,
So I
mhm, mhm,
started this terminal collective um Discord server. This is a Discord server. We now like have a lot of people there, and I just wanted, like, my goal was to have the maintainers of terminal emulators, multiplexers, TUI apps, and all of those people there, so that we could have some kind of discussion around what to do next.
mhm, mhm,
And this was like the initial idea was this, and I have like promoted this community during my talks, while I was talking to people, uh, conferences and so on. And it was like we kind of grew, and nowadays we're doing meetups where we basically interview someone from the terminal space, and they present their setup to us, and they present their tools. So Presenterm, for example,
mhm,
we had the author of Presenterm gave a walkthrough of their setup, and like just talked about how they developed Presenterm, how did they know about this new protocols, and what do they do. So one example, there is this text size protocol now implemented in Kitty. For those who don't know, you can now have different text sizes in the terminal. So you can have like a small text, big text, medium size, and and after this protocol was implemented, Presenterm just went ahead and implement this thing directly. And I was like, wow, how did I know about this? Did they talk about this before? And how did how what how like
mhm,
how do people communicate in this space? So apparently they talked in an issue. And if we like, I was thinking maybe if we could like have this Discord server, or like I don't know, some other Matrix server, or whatever. If you had this place where like the discussion for those things are like central, you could just let us know about like what we're working on, and we could just have like a more of a collective um, collective way of working in the terminal space.
mhm,
But that hasn't happened yet. We're still doing meetups though. That's going all right, I think.
mhm,
But one day, hopefully, we will have like enough people there, enough maintainers, so that we can talk about, like, we can decide on what to do
mhm,
next in the terminal space, because things are like mostly the same nowadays, and the development, like the advancements in this space is a bit like fragmented and a bit slow, I would
mhm,
say,
mhm.
because everyone is doing their own thing. So yeah, that's my goal with Terminal Collective.